welcome to another session of Atlanta's Gaming Group video. In this session, we're going to show you how to play Squig Hoppers in light of the most recent Olympic Games. Feel free to enjoy, implement the games at home. We're going to show you the most simplified version. To play Squig Hoppers, you need an area to play on. For this instance, we're using the gaming table custom made by Atlanta's Gaming Group for me. It's 5 foot by 4 foot, has two ends that are considered a starting point and an ending point. And then you also have two walls which we'll consider the crowd. On it you will need the terrain, which will modify your movement as you go, and we'll get into that in just a minute. And you need your blast templates, your squigs, which are your runners in this game, created by Games Workshop, some dice, and a directional dice. Also, you will need a measuring tool to determine how far you guys go. Let's cover movement. In most cases, your squig is going to move the direction of the directional dice and 3d6 inches. In rare cases, there are pieces of terrain that will modify your movement, such as a forest, in which case your Squig Hopper will move only 2d6 because it's considered difficult terrain and the direction of the directional die. In very difficult terrain, you subtract even further one dice. So you're down to one dice and a directional die to get out of very difficult terrain. When it comes to hills, you should roll the directional dice first to determine how many dice you roll. If it goes downhill, such as is pictured here, you add a dice to your roll. If it goes uphill, such as pictured here, you would lose a dice. If the instance comes where the squig is on top of the hill, on the bluff of it, then it's considered downhill no matter which way he goes. Normal terrain modifiers affect this normally. In the event that you roll a hit, you gotta choose which direction your squig goes. This can be beneficial to you in whichever way you would like, or you can do the nice thing and the goblin thing, which is to go ahead and assault the nearest squig to you. The scenario shown here, you're gonna have one squig run into another. In this case, squigs are vicious beasts and they want to kill each other. So, what you do is you move the blast template, place it where it would normally land. If any part of the blast template touches another squig, then you place the squig next to its counterpart there and treat it as if it's on top of that creature. At that point, you'll roll another directional dice and 2d6 to determine where exactly they go. He would go that way a total of 7 inches. So we place him over here 7 inches. In the event that he would have rolled a double, you'd place him face down on the ground and considering him stunned. As a stunned creature, he would miss next turn. The bounced creature then rolls directional dice. He rolls that way 6 inches. In this occasion, we'll say that he lands back on top of another guy. In which case, you would carry on from there. As he is the bouncer now, the guy on bottom is victim. He moves off, etc., etc. If he rolls a 1 as the victim of a bounce, then he is also stunned and misses the next turn. If your Squig Hopper runs into impassable terrain or a wall, then you will re-roll the directional dice to determine which direction it goes, assuming it goes away from the wall. If, in this situation, it rolls back towards the wall, then you just take the measuring stick and put it directionally like that and move it accordingly. To start the game, first determine which area is your starting zone, as here, which area is your finishing zone, which is there. Then determine your terrain. Declare whether it's difficult, impassable, in this case here, or just regular terrain. Lastly, measure to the center of your table, and then place your first Squig Hopper there. If it's an even game, measure additional 2 inches and move him there, measuring 4 inches alternating either way until you're out of Squig Hoppers. If it's an odd game, leave him there and just measure 4 inches away, alternating on each side. In playing Squig Hoppers, your first round is the only round in which characters do not roll the directional dice to see where they go. Instead, it is assumed they go directly forward. With what we have here, I've simulated the dice rolls. If, for instance, you come across a tie in a roll, you simply roll off to see who gets the next spot. The first player and the highest rolling player gets to choose which side of the board he would like to start on. And the last player, unfortunately, gets the butt end of things. As well as that, the first player gets to go first. He rolls, and sees how far he goes. Looks like I've rolled a total of 12 inches. He'd move forward to 12 inches. That's a good roll to start out with, and hopefully he'd keep going forward. However, the game can be very random at times. Gameplay continues until one player crosses the finish line, at which time he takes first place. If you're playing a single match of Goblin gameplay, you can either use it to determine who goes next, or go by the Goblin law, which is that the Goblin gets to eat all the other Goblin squigs. Once he exceeds this final line, you can go ahead and place him in the placing categories. In this case, I've already simulated another ending. We have a first player with pink, and then we have a second place player wearing the zebra stripes, and a third place player riding the red squig. That's my summation of Squig Hoppers. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy your games at home. Try it out, it's a blast. The team and I have developed this game, and it has been a thrill for a short game before we play game night, such as Dungeons & Dragons, Vampire, or something else. Enjoy!